Okay, I'll do the countdown and then it's over to you.
Cool.
3, 2, 1.
And hello, everybody. Just as I started there, a very weird noise just went past the window. That was interesting. All part of the synchronistic journey, guys. So, hello, whether you're watching on YouTube or whether you're listening on Holistic Radio, or maybe you're listening to the recording. So today's topic of discussion is why meditation is pure magic. Now, I had no clue when I woke up this morning what I was going to be talking about today. I thought it was going to be a card pull type thing, find out what is the question. And then we were watching some of you may have heard of David Clements. He is still is. I'm not actually sure if he still does theoretical physics, but that was his kind of training, if you like, in the sciences. Yeah. And then he had a series of experiences that exposed him to the other side of physics, what he calls what does he call it? Oh god, it's energy, but it's intelligent energy, living energetics, I think he calls it, but I might be wrong. So when I've done the show, I will share the video that we were watching today. It's nearly 2 hours long, but it's worth a watch. Yeah. So one of the things that he was describing, and I always love it when people describe something that I have experienced myself, but they put it in such a way you're like, oh, that's what it was. Of course. Why didn't I know that? So basically, and I'll get into this a bit further on. So he explained something that happens with energy when it forms matter. Yeah. That made sense to me, but then when you reverse engineer that, it makes sense what happens in meditation. Okay. So before I begin, and I will be pulling some cards at the end, yeah, just so you know, they're here, they're waiting. So for any of you who don't do meditation for whatever reason, or you don't know where to start, because that's always the thing. It's like, I can't sit in lotus and I can't keep my mind quiet for 5 seconds, let alone 5 hours. Well, I'm telling you now, you don't need to sit in meditation for 5 hours, unless you want to, and if you can. Meditation essentially is, from my perspective, it's not about necessarily, pardon me, shutting up the squeaky voice. Yeah, it's not necessarily about that. I'm not saying that can't be achieved, but when you start, I wouldn't even aim for that, to be honest. The reason being is that we agree to being so conditioned to fit into these, into this physical realm. We have to sign on the dotted line, so to speak, to agree to make ourselves so tiny to be able to have this experience in this realm. Yeah. I went off on a little tangent there. So meditation, essentially, for me, it's a slowing down. So that is, for me, it begins with the breath. So there is an amount of manipulating the breath to get into a brainwave state, if you like, which is a frequency. So it always comes back to frequency, vibration, and sound. Yeah. So there's the ripple effect from when you come to the breath, and you can just witness the breath, and that in itself actually changes the breath and allows it to slow down, which then begins to slow everything else down and then allows your physical being to relax, which then you then get into a loop of the body's relaxed, the mind's relaxed, the breath relaxes, and it carries on. And what that then does is it creates a space. So when we used to teach yoga, we were very much about, it's all about the breath. Everything is about your breath. So we would teach from that standpoint. You can use your breath to affect changes in the physical body without question, and I know that for a fact. But what that does, so one of the things we used to do is we used to use the inhale and the exhale to create space on the inhale. And then the exhale was used to fall into that space, which is what you're doing in meditation. You're creating a space, you're creating that expansiveness, which you can then literally fall into. And it's funny, when I had my hair cut the other day, we were talking to, because Kate, who cuts my hair, she's a yoga student from years ago. And she was saying, we were talking like we do, with haircuts. And she said, I really like being in, she called it, I really like being in the blackness. And I said, I enjoy being in the void space as well. Because what you get if you can allow yourself, give yourself permission to fall into the void space, it's like a blanket. It's like a lovely blankie, you know what I mean? And there's something, and for some people that would be terrifying, being in the void space with nothing, just nothing. For me, it's like, I want to be there all the time. I just want to be there all the time. But I can tell you now that when I first started this journey of yoga and meditation, neither my body or my mind were cooperating. So, if meditation is a journey that you feel that you want to go on, you need to be patient with yourself. Although what I would also add on to that is, if there was any time to do it, it's now. Because circumstances, conditions, energies are right for this practice right now. And you'll probably find that you'll get to that place of the void space a lot quicker than, for me, that took, oh goodness, about 20 years to get to that point where, because I would sit in meditation and I do the yoga and prepare to sit in meditation, all the breath work, everything. This is specific sitting meditation in silence. So I'd be there and it's like 2 seconds in and I'd have an itchy nose, or my foot would be going, my foot's going dead. Okay. Or something would feel like it touched my hand, all these things that bring you out of it. Or fear, because if you start falling into the void, sometimes, it's like, no, I don't quite want to go there. No. And you actually make yourself jump out of that meditative state, which is really strange. A bit like when you're falling asleep and you feel like you're falling down a curb. I wrote a poem about that once. So there's definitely an element of being gentle with yourself and don't go in with expectations at all. But what I would say is, start with something that is easy. So what do I mean by that? So for me, that was using a mala and just repeating a mantra or repeating some kind of an affirmation to get my mind to stop dancing around like a crazy monkey. You know. Dear. And then that led to other things. That led to, mantra with movement. Where else did it lead me? It led me to crystals, using crystals. It led me to many different places that are meditation. So creativity, get my words right, is a form of meditation. Meditation is in everything, really. Yeah. So there's a really cool thing that we used to do in our class. It's called kinning, which is a walking meditation. And let me think. I think it's up in Tibet. There are monks that wear these great big, strange, pyramidy kind of hat things, and they do this around the village. So it's a very, very slow walking meditation, and it's so slow that you feel every single part of your body move as it's like super slowed down walking. Yeah, and it's amazing. So there are all these ways that you can begin, get on the path. Just get on the path. Yeah, if this is something you want to do, just get on the path. Doesn't matter how you get on the path, get on the path. And that could be through singing, that could be through walking. Just walking is a meditation. Yeah, but it's allowing all those layers of your being, to be present with what that is that you're doing. Is that a sentence? I think it is. Because, why do I say that? And I know this from personal experience, because all roads, all those roads of meditation, every single one of them will lead to silence and stillness, will lead you to that brainwave state, which I would argue is probably theta, maybe even delta brainwave state, which again is a frequency. It's a frequency. Yeah. So all those different ways that people tune into that energy of the falling away, I would say. Yeah. So it's coming up as to why meditation is magic, why I know it's pure magic. Yeah. Aside from the things that I've already been talking about. So if you're being creative, if you're walking, if you are singing, if you are, I don't know, using a mala, if you're deep in a yoga practice, everything else falls away. Yeah. And that could even be, making a meal, anything. If there is some kind of, I know this was a buzzword a few years ago, mindfulness. So if you are actually fully fully engaged in what you are doing at any given time, that is meditation. Yeah, in my opinion. So this idea of the falling away, when you get to a place where sitting in silence and stillness, it's a really interesting sensation, but at the same time lack of sensation with the body. Yeah. And to be honest, I think in 2020 we were doing a lot of yoga, meditation, walking, to combat all the craziness, to combat the clown planet. So we got very immersed in creativity and the, really ramping up that spiritual work. And one of the things that I noticed, and it was like all of a sudden, and this is, it looks like a magic trick here, but what people don't realize is there's like nearly 20 years before of work that went before it, trying to sit in meditation. So all of a sudden, I realized I could sit in meditation for more than 5 minutes without being distracted by, itchy noses or dead feet or, whatever. And that to me was revolutionary to me. But I still hadn't quite experienced that falling away. And we were doing some, when was that? It was about 2021, I think, when we began to do this as in the evening, and we started inviting people to experience this, because what we realized was, with everything that was happening, what people really needed was silence and stillness, because it's in that space where you let go. You let go into the void, basically. So during, that was about a year, I think, 6 months, 9 months, something like that. We were doing this nearly every, I think, during the weekdays, I think it was. So during this, I experienced something extraordinarily profound for me, and that was the falling away of everything. And I had no fear either, because before, if I could feel that going, oh no, and I'd pull myself out of it. So for me, there was no fear there. There was a very definite falling away, but there was also a very odd sensation, and the only words I had for it at the time were like octopus, which doesn't even describe, what this felt like. And I was trying to get words. It's like, it might be like blancmange or something. I don't know. But it was a something and a nothing that I was feeling. So I'm like, okay, so I don't know what that is. I have no words for it. Put it on the shelf, like we do. And then Ian had the Orsin, which is what doesn't live in the void, but it is the void. And it's an energy which just moves all the time. If you think of the film Alien and how that creature moves when it's right at the end of the film, isn't it? Before she sends it out the airlock, and you can sort of see it moving in the shadows, but you don't know if it is something or not. It kind of reminds me of that. It's always moving, and it's, now and again you catch like a glimpse of something slightly shiny, and it says this. So whatever the void is comprised of, its name is Orsin. Well, that's what the name that we had for it. Why am I saying that? Brr. So yeah, this idea. So I'd had that experience, and then Ian got this download about this being that was in the void, and then today, finally, the penny dropped as to what I had experienced in meditation. This is the magic, yeah. So I'm always talking about neutrinos, yeah. I love neutrinos. Neutrinos are fantastic. So let's just put us to one side that we are physical bodies and all that stuff, yeah. So if we are beings of, I don't know, whatever dimension we actually originally come from, who knows? People say they know, but I don't know. I don't know if they know or not. Are they making it up? I don't know. Because I don't think anyone actually really knows. We can have a good old guess, or an educated guess, but do we actually really know? So that's the other thing about meditation. When you experience this falling away, the physical, essentially what you're experiencing is oneness. That's what it is, yeah. So as great big beings, so the part of you that's bigger and sees everything, which people say is the higher self, as vast, yeah, and I would say that that's a fraction of, what creates everything. It's not this crystal, but it is this crystal. It's not this pen, but it is this pen. Yeah, I like pens. So essentially, in order to have this tiny human experience in comparison to that great big thing that is massive and sees everything, we have to compress ourselves. Yeah. A bit like, so this pen, yeah, I'm holding, I've got a fountain pen. It's a lovely fountain pen. It's gorgeous. But in order for this pen to exist as a pen, energy has to compress into a thing to make a pen. Yeah. Yeah, you with me so far? So if something has to compress itself to make something that appears solid, yeah, then the reverse of compression is decompression. So when you're falling into the space of the void and you are held by that, I don't even know what to call it, blackness, I don't know, there's not even a word, is it? That's not even a thing. Essentially what you're experiencing is the decompression. So we're not compressed into this tiny body anymore. We're actually decompressing and experiencing an expansion and becoming that oneness, which is why it feels like, I'm making like octopus hands now, it's why it feels like octopus or like blancmange or something, because essentially what we are made of is intelligent light, intelligent energy. It's intelligent because it creates everything that we see. Yeah. So in that state of meditation, it's really a state of decompression, and it's a state of being the what is it calls it? Living energetics. Yeah, which is what we are. We're intelligent living energetics. And when he was talking about this, this energy has to really compress itself to form solid matter, I'm like, oh, so that's what I experienced in meditation, the opposite of that. It made so much sense to me. And what that feeling was that I got, which I've probably experienced less than a handful of times, if I'm honest. I started chasing it for a little while. It's like, no, Ange, don't chase it. You know what happens when you chase something, it runs away. You just need to let it come in when it's ready to come in again. But I will never, ever, ever forget that experience. It's just amazing. So I'm just reading my notes. So my experience of being one with the void space love consciousness, yes. Yeah, so how can we make? So I wouldn't even say that's the goal of meditation, or the way, it's like gold star for that one. And no, it's not even that. It's not. It's part of the journey. It's not the top of Everest by any stretch of the imagination. But I would say, in any any experience in meditation where you feel time just disappears, that is something that, and there's definitely a foundation that you could build on, with a meditation practice. Yeah. But there are so many ways that we can, what's the word I'm looking for, foster that yearning. It's a yearning for that stillness. It's a yearning for that silence. It's a yearning to be able to fall into that void space, just not even know that you're held. It's not even that. It's just like, because you are the void. You are the void space. When everything else disappears, you are the void, which everything else comes out of. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm a crazy person when I talk about this stuff. But hey, can't be a little bit crazy. Okay, so how can we make our experience of or with meditation more accessible? So I've got a few decks here, so I'm just going to pull probably one card from each. Because I really think that space that you get into when you're in meditation, it's like the other day, quite unexpectedly, we were doing our red light therapy, and it was in the last 10 minutes. There was something that came into my, it wasn't even my peripheral vision, it was like just slightly left of center. And I'm like, what are you? And it was like all these geometric shapes in the light, and the lines of these geometric shapes were like red and orange and like a gold color, and it didn't answer me straight away, funny enough. It just kept morphing, and I'm trying to think of the timeline of how it happened. I think it did. I think I just kept saying to it, what are you? You don't have to be, I think I said to it, don't be scared, I'm not going to hurt you. So it came into my field of vision, and it took a form. So it had the head of a lion and the body of a dragon. It had wings, and I was told its name, and I was told it was Griffin, not a Griffin, Griffin. And I was given its name, and I was like, whoa. I've never experienced anything like, have I experienced anything like that in meditation? Similar things, but this was very, well, it's very unexpected. I wasn't, didn't set an intention to do any of that, really. But what I realised was, that's my dragon. That's my dragon. So I've been told to be patient. I can't do that. So I keep asking questions. It's like, just be patient. Okay. So I've got breaking news just come in. Meditation is ancient technology. Absolutely, I agree. Like hypnosis, yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, Vedanta, Buddhism, all that stuff. What does meditation do? It's a bridge. Yes, it is a bridge. And that's a card that keeps coming up a lot at the moment. Bridge in my Lenormand cards. So it bridges your heart and well, all those layers, yeah, all the layers of all the layers. This is like I just had an image then of, it's like a reverse wormhole. Very clearly reverse wormhole, that kind of, when you go in, yeah, that's what you're doing. You're connecting with the bridge that then connects up to the part of you that's bigger and sees everything. So there's lots of things written down here. The heart is connected to void space. Yes. Bridge is technology, ancient knowledge to bridge to something. I'm not sure what that says. Yeah, it's definitely so when you are doing meditation and you get that falling feeling, it's almost like a death there. That's what I would say. Not an NDE, but you have to let go really hard. That's what I'd say. You have to let go really hard to fall into that void space. That's what I would say. Right, so how can we, breaking news. Okay, so how can we make our experience of, or with, or both, meditation more accessible? So I've also got some crystal cards that I will, okay, I'll cut the deck today. Okay, let's see what it's going to say. And I didn't bring my glasses, that's good. Oh, goodness me. So we got the card, Unbound. Oh my goodness. That is amazing. So, let me share this card. If I can take that down, that's it. So this says, Unbound. So this is letting go hard. Letting go hard. Releasing soul patterns, but I would also say, pardon me, those rigid ways of thinking, being, doing. Definitely. Releasing all that stuff that is not you. And again, there are different ways to do that, depending on how you like to do things. You know, something that we used to also teach is, you know, do your yoga your way. Yeah, doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. It really does not matter. So I used to be a bit of a sergeant major actually in my yoga when I used to teach yoga. Not in a horrible way. Well, I don't think it was in a horrible way. It might have been, I don't know. But I used to really try and drum it into people, you know, don't look at what other people are doing. You need to be in your being. You need to be in your body. You need to be with your breath. It doesn't matter if someone else can get their foot behind the ear. I mean, what is that anyway? That's, what do they call that? That's, yeah, gymnastics. Thank you, Ian. That's just gymnastics. That's not, it's not yoga. So, you know, this idea that, you know, there is only one way. No, there isn't actually, because all roads lead to silence and stillness. So this other card came out. Call back your power. Cut the cords. Soul retrieval. Oh my goodness. Wow. I love that. That is so cool. So calling back your power, it's really very simple. I mean, blah, blah, blah. Grounding is always good in any kind of practice. I've been saying that for years. Doesn't matter what you practice grounding. Murphy, can you stop that, please? Thank you. No, don't yawn at me. Cheeky dog. I mean, you can just set an intention to call back. The way I put it, and there's a little routine I go through, of grounding, of getting rid of anything that's not mine, filling those spaces when that's gone with, white or golden light. Go through my aura, rake it out. And then, there's like a sun. I place the sun above my head, and then I call back any energy that I might have left with any person, place, thing or experience through all of time and space. Yeah, because it's not just this lifetime. You might have left it 100 lifetimes ago with something. And as it comes back to you, it gets what's what I'm looking for? It gets neutralized by the sun, and then so when it re-enters your being, it is yours again. It has no any attachments that were on it are burned by the sun anyway. So when it comes back to you, there are no cords. It's all yours. Yeah, and I really like that a lot. I used to carry lots of stuff from other people's. It was very unpleasant. Okay, so there's two things there, and in fact they both kind of go together. Releasing of stuff that isn't yours through we call it the unraveling of things that are not yours, that don't belong to you. Yeah, stop carrying them. Put that rucksack down, lad. And cutting the cords, calling back your power. Yeah. Activating your dormant DNA. That's another really good one. I have shared previously a meditation where we go, I think it's 45 minutes, so we go through a really nice, I can't remember what's in it now, but it's amazing. So, yeah. Okay, so that was from the Work Your Light Oracle deck. This is the Starseed Oracle. Now that's really weird because I meant to pick up the water one, which I cannot actually see. Oh, it's up there. But in fact, what I actually picked up was the Starseed Oracle. So clearly, this is meant to be starseed things. Okay. So let's see what we see. Blue flame. There we go. I love that. The blue flame. Let's take a picture. So this is spontaneous awakening. So that could be a Kundalini awakening, activation, integration time. So you got the blue flame, which is really nice. But the other one you can use is the violet flame, which is really good for getting rid of things that don't belong to you. And you can visualize that as Ian likes that one. I don't use it as much. I like the rake. I like to rake things out of my aura with big nails like Freddy Krueger. I hated that film, but somehow rakes on the end of my fingers work really well. I don't know why. Oh, lifting the veil. I like that. That's very cool. So this says, question everything. Anything unaligned must go. Absolutely. So what I will say is, once you begin down this journey of or continue down the journey of meditation and self-realization. There's kind of it's kind of a no choice but to let those things go, because once, in my experience, once you know, you can't unknow it, and once you know it, it's like acting against it actually creates quite an interesting feedback loop. So let's see. Let's take a card from each of the crystal decks, I think. So if there is here we go, freedom. And that's, I'll show you that in a minute. I don't have any blue barite. Don't have any blue barite, but that is a beautiful card, actually. Okay, and I'll show you these in a minute. Oh, I like that one. That's nice. So we have blue barite, and that's eagle. So that is all about perspective and perception. So your perception is determined by your perspective. So what you see going up the mountain will be determined by how far you are up the mountain. Yeah. And they do actually then start creating a loop. So then they feed each other. If you get my drift. And I'd say that's what the eagle is representing there. So, and then we have garnet. Garnet is lovely. I think I have a big piece of garnet. I think it's a garnet. So garnet is root chakra. All about your foundation. What is your foundation? If your foundation is, that's mad. Breaking news, silence and stillness. There we go. If silence and stillness are your foundation, because what that does, essentially, in that void space is all possibilities, limitless possibilities, yeah? So it's still in that, it's that decompressed state, yeah? So there are no limits, whereas when we compress ourselves into these physical bodies, it feels and looks and appears like it's limited, yeah? I've got a PTL on that. Coming something. The something is, I think that means Maya. Yes, Maya. The nothing is moksha. Absolutely. True self liberation from Maya. So yeah, moksha. That was our yoga thing, actually. Yoga moksha. So garnet. So if you wanted to, I don't know how available blue barite is. I don't know, but that card is definitely associated with perspective and perception. Yeah. And there's a little saying which came from a Christmas movie many years ago. Now let me just get it. When you change the way you see things, the things you see change. That's a shift in perspective and perception. Yeah. So garnet. I'll try and read this without my glasses. Oh my goodness. When the fire has gone out, give garnet a shout. Okay. So it inspires motivation and invokes enthusiasm for life. There we go. Revitalizing, strengthening, and stimulating on all levels. A real tonic, providing you with strength, determination, and stamina to face whatever life brings you. So that's the other thing about meditation. And that is why meditation is magic, because it facilitates that falling away, the decompression and the return to that state of living, intelligent, living energetics. Yeah, I'm going to get that in my brain if it kills me. So Garnet, what is your foundation? What is driving you? Because garnet is quite funny. So it's kind of red, but the piece I've got is a sphere, and it has this pinkish kind of, not hue, it has a very pink quality to it, even though garnet isn't, strictly speaking, pink. So it definitely has a connection with the heart chakra as much as the root. So that's quite interesting. Oh, blimey. I've waffled for that long. Goodness me. Okay, so would anyone like to comment on what I've just been waffling about?
Go on, I'll jump in, Angie.
Okay.
First of all, you haven't been waffling. I'm one of those people who finds it hard sometimes and just falls into it other times. And I suppose what I really resonated with was the thing that you said about you can't trace it.
Yeah.
Because I've had the odd amazing experience, and I kind of go back into it another time. It's like, I want that.
Yeah.
And you can't get it back. But sometimes you get something different, and so it's thank you. It's just interesting to hear I kind of heard your perspective before, but it was interesting to hear that perspective, and I love the cards. They just, the cards just underline everything that you just said, didn't they? So thank you for that.
That's all right. Would anyone else like to share their experience in meditation, or ask a question, or do you want me to pull you a card?
Come on, then I'll speak again, because everyone else seems to be quiet.
Everyone else has been quiet.
Just jump in. Please pull me a card to give me a message about meditation.
Okay. So this is from what's this deck? This is the Crystal Medicine Oracle. Whoopsie. Okay. Got lots of cards. Okay. Okay, so this is a sentence. Moving forward in self-mastery will take creativity, a rebirth, and transformation. That's literally the sentence that these cards have given me.
Wow.
I'll just take a photo for you. Hold on.
Yeah, do. Thank you. I might have to say that.
Oh, right. So that's the first bit of the sentence. Whoop. And then the second bit is, can't get it all in one picture. Okay. So we've got Seraphonite, Topaz, Bixbyte, Shiva Lingam, and I would say that's gold sheen obsidian, but it could be rainbow obsidian as well.
So got
So
6 cards, not one.
you got 5 cards, yeah, which is, and they all kind of came out all together. It's like, there's your message. So, so moving forward in self-mastery will take creativity and, you know, a rebirth transformation.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
So I'd meditate on that, Val.
Yeah, I think it's a bit obvious, really, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
kind of journey. Yeah.
So obviously your creativity will be personal to you. So whatever that is.
Yeah. Well, interestingly, I was just while I was listening to you, I got out the Wiccan Spirituality book, and I thought, I wonder what the thing is for today. And it's the Festival of Keridwen.
Yes.
And it's all about cauldron magic.
Yes.
And one of the things it says to do is to light this candle in the cauldron like at the same time every day, and focus on your desire. So to me, that's my you know, I found that, and then a few minutes later you pulled those cards for me. So pretty good, huh?
That's amazing. I love it.
Hi, Angie.
Hello.
Hiya. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to jump in and say thank you. I really enjoyed that. I only caught the last half hour.
That's okay.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed that. That's really interesting. So thank you.
That's all right. Would you like a card?
Sure, go on then. You offered. I will take a card. Yes, why not?
Okay, Starseed Oracle, I think. Starseed Oracle? Yeah, Starseed Oracle. Okay, let's see. Card for Jackie, please. Oh, there we go. We got 2. They came out together. Okay. We have... Oh, doing that the wrong way. So we have... We have loosen your grip and take baby steps. Hey, yes. There we go. Listen. So this is the falling I was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, allowing yourself to fall into the space that you create. So if the idea of falling into the void is a bit too much, because I get that completely, 100%.
Yeah.
Then
I get you. I hear you.
Yeah, that could just be allowing yourself to fall into your creativity.
Okay.
Because the idea of holding on to, gripping onto things is that there's a fear there of allowing it to just be. Yeah.
Happen.
And I get it. 100%.
Yeah.
So
when
yeah.
you said it, I could feel that in my stomach when you were saying that.
Oh, okay. So yeah, and take baby steps. Where is there a rule out there that says that you have to do anything anyway? Let alone do it in leaps and bounds like some kind of crazy tiger. I don't know why tiger came in there. I don't know. Do tigers hold any significance for you, Jackie?
It does, yes.
I'm not in your head, really. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So let the tiger take baby steps. Be a baby tiger. What do baby tigers even look like? I don't know. I've never seen a baby tiger.
Like a cub. Like a little, like a tabby.
Aww. That's very cute.
Like a tabby. A little tiger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. anybody else? It's all gone quiet.
It has gone all quiet. I think what I'll do is I'll just jump in and ask you to pull me a card
Yep.
and concentrate on the word Kundalini for me.
Okay. That's interesting. Let me just get a picture. So this is there we go. The grandmother of Jesus, Anna, seeding the light, laying foundations. So this is all about, what we're essentially working towards, heading towards, climbing towards. Sometimes it feels like Everest. Is this idea that we're stepping into more than what we have been told that we are. Yeah. So by shining your own brand of light, yeah, you are laying that foundation. So this comes back to the garnet. What is your foundation? And from that place, you then, things then begin to unfold and fall in your path. And you go, whoa, where did that come from? So, yeah, when it comes to Kundalini, I mean, my experience of a Kundalini awakening was, it wasn't on my list of things to do. It wasn't a bucket list type thing. I was just deep in a yoga practice and it happened. So I think, and that was, blimey, a long time ago, over 20 years ago now. So I would say expect the unexpected, unless you've already had a Kundalini awakening, Andy.
I have.
Ah.
I even consulted ChatGPT about this.
Oh no, you didn't.
I did. I explained my experience to it.
Oh no.
And I waited the response that was forthcoming. It was quite illuminating, actually. It was quite interesting. It led me down a path of questioning that was, what is the Western type of explanation, or the similar terms of reference for the Eastern reference of Kundalini? What is the Western term? And it came up with quite a few different things. Now, I know already pre-knowledge of that it will have preordained answers for certain inquiries and certain lines of questioning. So I was interested to see what it would come up with initially, and then I just explored different avenues of it. So yeah, no, but the card that you've pulled, interestingly, do we know who the mother of Anna is?
It's not something I've ever really felt driven to know, so I don't know. No, I don't know. No.
The only reason why I ask is a very peculiar card that would come up in reference to a Kundalini experience. Other than, as far as I'm aware, I'm not sure exactly of the grandparent lineage of it all, but I'm sure that the great grandmother of Jesus was Cleopatra.
Okay, interesting.
So that would make Anna the daughter of Cleopatra. I'm guessing. So I was just wondering, does anybody know who the mother of Anna was? Was it Cleopatra?
There is actually the Sphinx in that picture. The Sphinx is in that picture, and so is the pyramid. You can't.
Pyramids.
Yeah,
Yes.
pyramids.
Yeah.
Holy crap! Oh my God! You've even got. I think that is. I don't know. It looks like Glastonbury tour, but it doesn't. At the same time, that's a bit
On the
weird.
left.
Yeah, it looks like it, but it's the wrong shape. So I'm not quite sure what's happened there.
It could be a tour from somewhere else. It doesn't necessarily have to be Glastonbury, although I do understand the significance.
Well, it is said that Glastonbury is the heart chakra of the planet. You know, that's up for debate, but, you know, it would make sense if it was the tour. But what's interesting, she has a pillar of light moving with her. She doesn't seem to have a physical body, but there is a pillar of light moving up the center of her body. And then you have a mandala. It's not the flower of life. It's a mandala where that would be solar plexus, heart chakras are. So that's interesting. But yeah, there's the Sphinx and pyramids. So you could be onto something there, Andy. Wow, that's a bit mad. Wow, that's a bit mad, that is. And there's like strings coming off her fingers and lights. So that's the kind of when I had a dream. I did. This is months ago now, where I wasn't a being of light, but what I had at the end of my fingertips was like light, a bit like what's coming out of the end of her fingers, and things were just being created from this light that was coming from my fingers. So that's kind of what, divine plan, definitely. The weaving of the divine plan.
Well, thank you for that.
That's all right. Does it make sense?
Well, whether it makes sense or not, I don't think that matters. It's whatever comes out.
Yeah.
I was just interested, that's all. It was just that it was on my radar again yesterday. So I thought, I'll take this opportunity to ask Andy to put me a card referencing the Kundalini and see what comes up. And wait, there we go.
And what you've also got in the background, it doesn't look like Earth. It looks like a water planet. Could be Mintaka. So do you have an affinity with water, Andy?
Oh, I used to love it when I was a young lad. We used to go swimming in the lakes and the lodges right here.
Yeah.
And I would always be the last one out. I would always want to continue where everybody else was going, it's cold, it's cold. I'd still be in there swimming around, loving it, feeling it. Absolutely, yes. Loved it in this when we went to school, when we went to swimming at the public swimming baths, but more so when we were free wild in swimming, I think they call it these days.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely loved it.
Cool.
It felt like a fish in water.
Do you still go in the water?
No, I haven't been swimming for a good 10 or 15 years. However, I have commented recently that I would love to go wild swimming this year. If I get a few days warm weather, then I've got plans in place ready so that, yes, I can go wild swimming, even if it's only for half an hour. The local res just up the road from me, me and Tobias will go up. He will probably just sit at the edge and paddle while I sort of immerse myself, swim out, come back, get dressed and set off back home again.
That is so cool. That is brilliant. Do it. That's what I say. Do it. Wow.
Andy, what's your star sign? Are you a water sign?
I'm a Taurus.
That's not autumn, is it?
That's Earth.
Yeah.
What about
I love that
rising on moon?
It's at the end of the Taurus spectrum, so it's verging on the next one, which is Gemini, I think.
You don't know
In
your
the
rising sign or your moon sign?
Oh, I've no idea.
Okay.
I'm a typical Taurian, though. In all aspects. You know, when you see these little write-ups about, a typical Taurian is blah, 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 this, and this, I'm usually reading them and just nodding my head and going, yep, that's me, that's very much me, yep, that's me, yep. So whatever you know of a typical Taurian, yes, I am that. I'm passionate, I'm stubborn, I'm not lazy to the point of laziness, but I'm lazy to the point of I'd rather take the shortest route to get the job done rather than go the long way around. So I always look for the shortest, quickest way of doing something.
Okay.
So there's a lot of it is bang on when it comes to my personality in that sort of sense in the Taurian realm. But I do also have a little bit of Gemini in there as well. I have noticed that.
Cool.
I do like that transition from earth to water. I do like the going out bit.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. When I was at the beach when I was a kid, I used to love wading out, and that sort of in between, sort of halfway up your waist type of depth.
There's a liminality there, that kind of where things converge. Is like you say, the element of earth and the element of water. There's it's a very magical space actually, where the earth and the water meet.
I've always loved it. That transitioning out of air into water and being an earth sign. I suppose, there's a lot of magic going on there, and I love. I've never had a bad experience of water, me, and swimming, paddling, rivers, lodges, reservoirs, whatever it might be, seas. They've always been pleasurable experiences.
Cool. I like that. Well, it's 7:15. It's not crackerjack time. But would anyone like me to pull them a card, or shall we stop the recording?
I don't mind if you pull a card. That would be very, very grateful for.
Okay. Sorry, who was that? I can't see everyone.
It's Amanda.
Hi.
Decoding frequency.
Ah, hi. Okay, let's do one of those. Okay. So this is the Crystal Medicine Oracle. So let's see. What was your name again? Sorry? Amanda. Oh, there we go. There's one. Crystal Blessing. What's that? Cathedral Library. Okay. Grandmother Crystal Deva. So there's... Okay, let me get the book for this one. Number 8. I can read it without my glasses. Okay. Decoding frequency. All right, that makes sense. So it says you have been drawn to this card. Sorry, you have drawn this card to your attention today, as it's time for you to be honoured for who you are and all that you do on this planet. It's time of divine crystal blessings. So a cathedral quartz. It kind of looks like an celestial quartz. but it's usually quite a big piece. So I don't know if you have anything that looks like that. If you use crystals, you might not use crystals.
I've got crystals. Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of meditation, do you use crystals in meditation?
No, I don't.
Okay.
No.
Would you be open to using crystals in meditation?
Yeah. Of course. I've got some of my crystals anyway in a circle with a beautiful Lemurian crystal in the middle.
Okay. Yeah. So if you sit in the do you sit in the middle of those?
I don't know. They are placed though.
If you can sit in the middle of those, and that's how you'll get your crystal blessings. It's literally, especially the Lemurian, because this is ancient knowledge that's coming through this card. Yeah, this is like the knowledge that you have as we would say crone, or as an elder. Yeah. So this is definitely around honoring yourself and allowing your crystals. And if you use frequency as well, I don't know if you use frequency, using frequency with crystals, which is the perfect pairing, to really
help activate. I know, because
yes.
this is so interesting, because I used to sit with them in the park in my hands. I put sometimes them onto the grass, and things were so much better back then, but they weren't, if you get me.
Yeah.
Like, having gone through a dark night, and it's been years, today, what is really, I am free. I am free from mental health services.
Oh wow.
Literally. Yeah, and I have yeah. I should be celebrating wildly, but I'm not. I'm just sitting quietly with this. But I'm free.
Wow.
Yeah. So I need to use my crystals. I need to sit with them again.
Yep.
And yeah, everything's been very hectic. You know, staring into the abyss, and the abyss started to stare into me.
Yeah.
So it's a new day and a new page in a new story.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, definitely using the crystals, the frequency, sitting with them, sitting in the, if you can create an area where you're literally sat in the middle of them. And I love the Lemurian in the middle, that maybe you can hold or just have it in front of you. Use it as a tool for gazing. Rather than candle gazing, you can use crystals for gazing. And you could, literally, if you allow yourself to go into that crystal, you might be surprised.
Yeah. I also have this beautiful disc that was made by Michael Lee Hill, and he's created these discs through frequency. He was part of the secret space program and got out.
Oh wow.
And he's a musician. He looks like a lion. He's amazing. And I used to sit with it because it's in a cymatic that is like Venus. Literally. And I know that's where I'm from. I just know. Like, So I used to sit with that and look through it at the sun and gaze. It's like, why have I not been doing this stuff?
I think sometimes, life kind of, it's almost like life trips us up. It comes out of nowhere. It comes out of the shadows, trips us up, and we're lying on the floor going, "What? What was that?" And it takes us a little while to get back up again. And sometimes the things that we were using before don't actually come all the way through with us. That's what I would say. So some of the things that you were doing before might not have actually come through all that with you. But I can tell you now, crystals usually survive the journey.
And they hold all the energy, and the history and everything. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you, Amanda. Wow, that was amazing. I don't know if is there anyone else still hanging around? If anyone else would like me to pull them a card, speak now. Okay.
Me.
You. Okay. Hello, Rachel. Okay, so we're going to go from the Work Your Light Oracle deck, which I love. Love this deck. Whoa, there we go. What have we got? 2 cards. Ooh. Okay, this is an interesting one. Let me just get a picture. So we've got 2 cards. This is the first one. Pillar of Light.
Ooh.
Your vibration is rising. You are Oracle. So as Oracle, and we are all Oracle, but it's whether we recognize it or not. So the other one is Inner Temple. So these two go very well together. Because, as Oracle, you would always be coming from that place of the heart, that portal.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you do any kind of, what's the word, practices around, when I say connecting to the heart, that sounds really naff, actually. But really, really getting in there, that strange inverse wormhole that I was saying earlier, which is essentially the bridge. Sorry, that was a question.
I do Reiki on myself, and I've had many different experiences whilst doing that, because it's kind of like a shortcut to meditation, if you like. And I've been in the presence of my higher self, and which was the most amazing feeling of love I've ever felt, really. So I do that, but I haven't done it for a couple of weeks now. So that this is a sign for me to start doing that again.
Okay. So you know exactly what it was. Oh, well, that's amazing.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. If you know exactly what that is, then I don't think there's anything more I need to say, really.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you ever so much, Angie.
Yes, okay, thank you. Okay.
Well, the only person that hasn't asked for a card so far yet is Little Claire. So unless Little Claire wants to unmute and ask for a card, I think that's it. Everyone else has been done.
Okay.
Go on, Claire.
Go on, Claire.
You can do it. No. Not
Okay.
today.
No pressure.
Maybe next
No
time.
pressure.
Maybe next time.
It's like standing up in the front of class, isn't it, and speaking. Oh, I used to hate that. You wouldn't think that now. Okay, Andy, do you want to stop the recording?
I will do that right now.